Yes, our children, drink deep and feel the searing embrace of the first one. Now it is time for you to acquire what you came for.
The burning in your veins is but a moment of discomfort in your transition to the great beyond. Now we welcome you to your eternity. Drink deeply, have faith, and join us in this sermon.
My name is Stephen, and I'm here to say I serve up Koolaid in a major way. I record every week with my co-host Jett. He's got funny stuff to say, so don't you fret. Almost a year and a half of work and not a single band, but it's okay because I love running the Koolaid Stand.
Yes. I was going to start clapping into the mic, but I figured that might not be good for the audio. That was awesome.
Thank you. Welcome back. My name is Stephen, in case you didn't catch my 90s rap, and that's Jett.
Yep, that's me.
I mentioned it last week. That was 4 days ago for us. I have to record before I go on my vacation, which I've been preparing for pretty much all day. I am a nervous traveler, so I had to pretty much take all day to set all my shit up and recheck my packing 3 times and check my list 4, 5, 6 times. But
I feel that.
That's got me kind of in the mood to talk about travel in general. I'm not much of a vacationer, mostly because I spend most of my time working or scared of not working. So I just wanted to like have a week where we talk about travel. I think talking about vacations and stuff.
Hell yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I don't think either of us are big travelers, so that'll be interesting.
I mean, well, how often do we travel? I think it's been.
What do we qualify as traveling? Like, how far away do I have to go?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Because like you've done a couple runs back to where we live a couple times for like shows in Seattle or whatever.
Yeah.
That's definitely traveling for you. When did you get back from that hockey game?
Like 11, 15, and it went into overtime. So it was like, I would have been home around 11 if it did go into overtime, I think. But yeah, that concert,
far better.
We already talked about it. I got home at like 1:30.
That's brutal. Let's say like for the purpose of leaving your area like more than like an hour away or where we usually are hanging out. Like if you're going between 2 locations often, I'm not going to call that travel. Like you got to like go out.
Okay.
Pack a bag.
Sure. Going an hour or more away with a purpose.
Yes. I think other than a road trip I took, which we'll talk about, other than that, I have not gone on. I wouldn't even really call that a vacation. I have not gone on a vacation in like 5 years.
Damn, dude. I probably travel like 2 or 3 times a year. And more if I'm counting like going down to the Seattle area to meet up with you guys for some kind of event, or that's where most of like the sports games are and a lot of the concerts are in relation to where I live. So I don't know, if I'm counting that, the number gets a lot higher. But outside of going to events in Seattle or going down to that area to meet up with you guys, probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, man. I haven't left, like, I rarely leave the state. And I've got family down in Oregon, kind of like in the greater Portland area.
Yeah.
So I think I've been down to Portland in the last year and a half, like 3 times, maybe 4 times. So that's a rare trip. And that's for like, I'm going down there with like a second set of clothing and I'm going to be gone for like a day and a half, maybe. Like I'm going down there on Friday and I'm coming back on Sunday.
Yeah. To me, that's a short trip for how long it takes to get there.
It is. And it's kind of annoying, but that's just how it be. I'm so scared of leaving the shit that I got going on here behind. Irrationally so, I understand. My business partner spends a lot of time convincing me that I don't need to be here all the time. And so this trip will be me going out and trusting that the processes that I've established to just kind of work.
Yes, I think that'll be good practice for you. Although it is also true that because you have your own business, you have a lot less redundancy than the average person does when you stop working. Things kind of stop happening.
Yeah. Although the nature of my business is really more of a reactive thing. I mean, I could do proactive so much so, but like I kind of have to. Usually, I only need to spring into action if something's going on, and in that case, also I don't need to be there. Like, you know, I'm just gonna end up calling the next guy. So, without trying to give too much away, but yeah, I am aware that I am very anxious in leaving. So this will be good practice in that, and I'm excited. Where, like, in all your travels, where have you been to?
Well, I don't think either of us have ever left the United States.
I have not, and not even to Hawaii or Alaska myself.
I have been to both Hawaii and Alaska, but I have never left the U.S. Where have I been? I've been to Hawaii and Alaska. Hawaii was I was so young that I don't remember. Sure. I've been to the East Coast once. I went to Philly. I've been to California a few times. I've been to Eastern Washington a bunch of times. I've been to Montana. I've been to Oregon a bunch of times. Trying to think if I've been anywhere else. I've been like through Idaho to get to Montana.
Sure, yeah.
I think that's probably about it, honestly.
I've been a bunch of places. I didn't realize I'd been so many more places than you. Probably in nature due to one specific road trip, but I've been to Washington, Idaho, Montana, fucking what's the one after Montana? I'm losing track of them. That's Oklahoma.
What do you mean by after?
No, Oklahoma's south. I mean, if I'm heading to the east.
That's one of the Dakotas, isn't it?
How am I forgetting? Yeah, no, South Dakota, and then just barely into North Dakota, just a little dip in there. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Those are backwards. Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia.
You're retracing your steps right now.
Yeah. After West Virginia, White Sulphur Springs, we went to what is that? Missouri? What's next to? No, there's more on the way back. Kentucky?
I don't know. It depends on the route you took back. The U.S. is very large.
Pretty much 66. So I've been to Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, technically Utah, because I went to Four Corners, okay. and also technically Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, and Washington, and I've been in Nevada. So that's everywhere.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas, so I've been to Nevada.
Oh yeah,
and I used to live in Tennessee.
Yeah, when you were like 2, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't really count that as traveling.
Sure.
I never went there. I just lived there when I was a small child for a little bit.
Oh shit! And then Virginia and Georgia, and probably Philadelphia. But I think that's all of them. And in DC. I would want to count that. I used to count that as West Virginia. I didn't until like 4 years ago. I did not know that DC is technically its own thing.
Yeah, it's just its own entity. It's not a state or a city. It's a district.
Definitely an interesting way to lay that out. But no, so I've been all fucking over the place. That was mostly into one trip though. I made frequent visits as a child to Tucson, Arizona, and Lexington, Virginia.
Lexington, Virginia. Did you ever go see where the first shot was fired? Or no, that's a different Lexington, isn't it?
Are you thinking of Bloody Sunday?
No, I'm thinking of
Lexington
and
Tennessee?
Concord.
Lexington,
but that's like
Tennessee?
No, it's further north, I think.
Yeah, so I'd kind of been all over the place. A lot of trips out to Virginia and Arizona. I think I liked Arizona more out of the two. The East Coast sucks. I fucking hate the East Coast.
I've only been to Philly. again, that was long enough ago that I don't really remember it. I think I was 12 when I went there.
Sure.
And I went there by myself to visit my aunt, but I like flew by myself when I was
Felt like a big boy.
like 12. Kind of, but it was also like I was very nervous about it.
I was flying solo at like 6.
That's wild.
And now yeah, it is. Now that I'm an adult, it's crazy to think about flying in general. We'll get there. What do you think is your favorite trip?
My favorite trip.
Yeah.
I have a few standouts. I feel like I
Okay.
want to say that Hawaii would be a standout, but like I said, I have very little memory of it. But like
Mhm.
I do remember like enjoying it. I remember being on the beach a bunch and like boogie boarding a
How
lot.
old were you?
10, I think.
Okay.
I did a lot of boogie boarding. We were on the beach a lot, which I liked, and we went to this big ass banyan tree that was at the end of a hike with a
Ooh, okay.
waterfall. And
Cool.
I remember that being really cool.
I've never seen a waterfall with my own eyes.
That cannot be true.
It is. It's 100% true. I've never seen a waterfall.
There's one like, there's got to be one like 20 minutes away from you.
I haven't been to that one. I've never seen a waterfall.
That's
And I'm in the Pacific Northwest.
that's a fucking wild statement. You need to go see one ASAP.
Yeah, no, you're right, because it's they sound really cool.
Alaska was a lot
Water.
of fun. I went there on a
Follow-
fishing trip, like a chartered fishing
Dude, your
trip.
Alaska trip. I'm so jealous of that fucking trip.
And that was really cool. We like stayed in
Yeah.
cabins out in the like really out in the middle of nowhere, and we had
Hell
like these
yeah.
river guides that took us out on the river to go salmon fishing every day. And that was super cool.
Alaska's so fucking pretty.
Yeah, and like
It's really pretty.
everything. One thing that struck me is everything feels fucking huge there.
I've seen pictures of like some of the mountains up there. They're just gargantuan. It must be just really young geology, but like it's so cool. And I think it feels big probably because it's untouched mostly. I mean, there's not a lot of traffic going up into Alaska.
Yeah, even when we went through Anchorage, because that's where the airport was, that is
Mhm.
like one of the big cities there, and it's not that big. Like that was one of the first thoughts I had when we were driving through Anchorage. It's like Anchorage is not as big as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And then on our way out to the cabins, it was like there were small towns, but all the man-made stuff felt so sparse and so few and far between. And the nature is massive. The animals are massive. The mountains are massive. The trees are massive. Like it just feels so huge and open, which was very cool.
So cool. Oh, it's so pretty. I have someone that I know who like travels around on a sailboat, and they send me pictures occasionally
shit.
of like Alaska where they like dock most of the time.
Yeah.
And looks fucking gorgeous up there. It's got that like Seattle winter thing where like the humidity seems so low that like there's not a fucking cloud in the sky and the air is like super crisp.
Yeah.
I love that. I think Montana was really cool to see. Although I didn't make a trip specifically to Montana, I will here in the summer. But the Continental Divide is absolutely gorgeous.
I learned to swim
It's,
in Montana.
Really?
Yes, in a hotel pool.
Ah, I was going to say famously inland. Just the strata you can see as you climb into the Continental Divide, like all these giant broken rocks, and the big ass trees and the gorgeous sun is so pretty. It absolutely breathtaking. And then you crest the mountains, similar to here. We're like traveling through the Snoqualmie Pass, which is also gorgeous. You breach the mountains, and then you're just like in the rain shadow, and it's just dirt. And it sucks. I got stuck. We needed a car repair in Billings, Montana, and it was like this big flat concrete plate that you're just getting baked on. It sucked. It's so hot. It's like the surface of the sun, dude. It's miserable.
All my homies hate Billings, Montana.
Dude, fuck Billings, Montana. We passed through Wisconsin, which was just corn forever. And then just so much corn. Was one thing that was crazy to me was like on the flats in Montana and Wisconsin, and one of the Dakotas, South Dakota, just endless expanse. And they call it big sky country, and I didn't really get it. But we grew up, just for frame of reference, we grew up in an area of the world where we are between two major landmarks and a lot of elevation in between them.
Yeah.
Get that on camera. But like the mountains, we have the Cascades to our side, and we have the fucking Puget Sound right next to us. So like,
depending on where you are, there's another mountain range out there too, the Olympics. So depending on where you are, there's just a mountain range on both sides of you.
And it's just so pretty and temperate. And so like, no matter where you look, it's a gorgeous sight, really. You get out there. Have you spent much time in the Midwest as an adult, or enough to remember?
Not really. I remember like parts of Montana. I don't remember being very struck by the nature there, to be honest with you. I was in I was in Missoula for most of the time I was there.
Okay. So once you breach those mountains and you get into the actual Midwest, and I'm not talking about Idaho, I mean like actually out there, it's just endless land. If there weren't hills, you'd be able to see the curve of the fucking earth. It's so fucking flat. And the only differences are like these little canyons and peaks of little hills. And that's it. And like some of it isn't even like farmland. It's just traveled between land that's like unoccupied.
Yeah.
Just owned by the government. And I think the craziest thing to me that really struck me is the most interesting landmark is never in the same place, because it's the shadow that clouds are casting, and those move around and you can watch it. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
it's so odd.
I've only flown over the flyover states.
Being down there is a whole different thing. It's wild. Closer to the Mississippi was cool. Wisconsin isn't one of those. South Dakota's not one of those. Sorry, I'm geographically stupid if you don't know. Minnesota was on the Mississippi.
Yeah,
on the very north, right? Yeah. And that felt like here. Like it was as green as here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was just interesting to get there and be like, oh shit, like there's no firs, but like, or pine trees, but it looked as verdant and as kind of temperate as is here. Illinois,
I think they get
cool.
a similar climate off the Great Lakes as we do, like from the Sound, right?
Well, yeah, but it's colder, and they get tornadoes.
Yes.
They have since the Midwest has no mountains, the fronts of air are gargantuan, and they come up and meet there. So you get tornadoes. It gets so cold in Chicago that the streets are not made of asphalt.
Really?
They're made of fucking concrete, dude.
I did not know this.
It was really strange, because like we get in there and all of the overpasses and all of the spaghetti bowls and all of the fucking the movement, all the roads, it's all concrete. And I found Colby out in the greater Chicago area while I was on my trip, and I was like, dude, what's up with the fucking roads? And he's like, oh yeah, that's just, it gets so cold here and so hot here that like the asphalt can't handle that kind of shock. So it's concrete.
Yeah, it doesn't get
so interesting.
that cold here.
No, not at all. I don't think I've ever seen it in the double negatives, honestly.
I don't know if I don't remember it having ever been below zero here.
Yeah, rarely. Maybe -1 or 2, but yeah, it's usually pretty warm. Very temperate.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm in a temperate rainforest.
Our winters are rainy, not snowy.
Yeah. Ohio was kind of cool. Didn't really see much of it. Indiana's interstate system sucks ass. there were impressive potholes. And yeah, the East Coast sucks. Although my issue with the East Coast is
what was your problem
Appalachians.
with it?
So the Appalachians are gorgeous. I'm sure you saw some of the pictures that I put on my Instagram. They're like these really beautiful hills that are super green, and the mist kind of like hangs low, and it's fucking beautiful. It looks like there's a dude, like a large guy with moth wings that kind of like lives out there. I just get that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But my problem is honestly the climate. The climate is my issue with the Virginias, and the East Coast in general, but definitely the Virginias. That mist is because it's raining warm. And that rain, when it comes down, evaporates quickly off the ground and then becomes mist again. It's just this constant humidity cycle, and it never ends, and it beats you down. It is vicious. I hated it.
I mean, it's a bit
I
better
went through
on the east side of the mountains, right? Like on the actual coast.
on the actual water. I don't know. I actually haven't been out that far. I've only ever been in the Appalachians.
I've been
So,
I've been to, like I said, Pennsylvania and then New Jersey, and
mhm.
it wasn't like particularly humid. I was there in the summer and it was pretty warm. It wasn't like overly dry because that's further north on the East Coast.
Oh, I've been to North Carolina. I almost forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
But that's on the
I've been
coast,
to
right?
North Carolina too. Yeah,
That's
part
pretty
of
much the coast.
part of North Carolina, like the east end of it touches.
Where's
the
Raleigh?
coast. I don't know where Raleigh is in North Carolina. I went there when I lived in Tennessee, so I really have no memory
Okay.
of being there. I do know that in Tennessee they get like summer rainstorms though, so it'll be you'll
Oh yeah.
you'll get this weather phenomenon if you've never experienced it, where it's like 80 degrees outside, but also pouring
raining.
rain and there's thunder
Yeah.
and shit.
That's cool. Missouri wasn't as miserable as I thought it was going to be. I liked it. Well, it's because I went to the Ozarks, and I like the show doesn't really even do that area justice because they're not filming in the Ozarks; they're filming in Georgia. But like
Georgia,
the Ozarks are
weird.
genuinely fucking amazing. They're basically what it is this underground river system, and the ground eroded so much with the rivers that the whole area was a flat, and then it collapsed. And so it's this big basin of like these fractal rivers that just go on. It seems like when you look at the map, like infinitely deep. It's so cool. And it's so temperate. It genuinely was like the middle of the summer. It was like July, and I was in a t-shirt and I felt comfortable. It was like,
Hell yeah.
really nice.
Sounds
It was an
nice.
Awesome area.
Because I don't
Awesome
handle
place.
the heat very well.
Neither do I. Dude, Texas, you've seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, right?
Yeah.
I went through the panhandle of Texas. So like this little nudge at the top, like next to Oklahoma.
I know that the Panhandle has a bit of a reputation in comparison to the rest of Texas, but I've never been.
It feels like only weird shit goes down out there, dude. Like, the ground meets the sky at like the middle of your vision. It just goes forever, and the sky, the sunsets are so bright somehow, and it just feels like you're in the middle of fucking nowhere because you are. Like we went to this one like truck stop. If you're on road trips, Love's is the place to hit, and every Love's you ever go to fucking rocks. And when you think about truck stops, like, oh, they're probably seedy and gross. No, they want to be really nice because they want the truckers to come there.
Right.
And so they are genuinely very, very nice stops. The only Loves I found that sucked really bad and was that gross was in the middle of the panhandle of Texas. It was, and when I stood out there filling the gas tank in the miserable heat, I was just looking out at the horizon and just saw no end to this pink sky. It was so weird. It really felt like I was in an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. It was crazy.
I don't think anybody's
and
going to be surprised about the terrible Loves being in the middle of the Panhandle.
Have you you ever been to the Southwest at all? Like the Mesas and Arizona?
No, not at all. No,
Dude.
Nevada's the closest I've been.
That I would say probably my favorite area of the country is like out in the mesas, because it's so, the colors are so striking.
Sounds too hot.
It is so miserably hot, but it's really dry heat, so it feels like you're in an oven as opposed to like in a really hot shower. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if one is better than the other. For me,
it's not the heat that gets you, it's the humidity.
that's what they say.
That's what they say. But it's worth it because of how pretty it is. You get these giant, like fucking towering mesas in like of red and tan. It feels like you're on Geonosis. It's so cool. And the bugs out there are awesome, and the plants out there are cool. I passed through Nevada, like the really poor areas. I think this is a really interesting thing to mention, because when remembering this part of the trip, I always remember how weird this was. They're like these small little towns that are like look like they're barely held together, but they've got a little school, and like you blink and you drive through them, like straight up, they're really tiny, and it's mostly farmland. And then you remember that people like are born and die there, like that right? I know it seems kind of annoying, like a city person thing to say, but like if a child is born in that spot and they have aspirations, leaving that area has to be so hard.
It's probably a lot more difficult than if you grow up in a city, because then there's a bunch of other cities around and
Yeah.
you know more people and there's more schools around and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have that life experience, but it's probably a lot harder to like leave if you want to.
Yeah.
I imagine
and
a
we
lot
drove
of those
through-
places are like spread out farming communities to some extent too. Like people are
Mhm.
kind of probably like driving into town to take their kids to school, but they like live on a farm or something like that.
There's also an astonishing lack of fresh food. Like this is the first time I ever found out about food deserts. Like passing through pretty much any like major store, their produce section is like fucking minimal. It's like you've been to plenty of Safeways up here. Like the bread section is like the fresh produce section is the size of the fresh produce section in most of these stores.
Yeah. Dude, I need
crazy.
I need produce. You got to have produce.
Yeah. It was just so interesting to see the world like that. And we drove through an area, like we took a shortcut, I guess, through Nevada that was like horses were just walking around like on the street. And these were real wild horses and donkeys.
That's pretty
like
cool.
Actual,
I don't think I've ever
it was
seen
really cool.
I don't think I've ever seen a wild horse or a wild donkey before.
There were warnings. There were also warnings to make sure your phone was charged and your tank of gas was full. It was pretty cool.
I love that they have to warn people because they're like, yeah, if you break down out here, you're just gonna have to wait until
fucked.
somebody finds you.
Yeah. We drove through like lye farms. It was really interesting. That was on our way up into Tahoe. Which if is definitely some place to go check out at some point. It's like, do you know what Tahoe is?
I mean, I know it's a town and that there's a lake.
It's a lake, but the lake is at the peak of a mountain range. So like you have like this bowl.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It's like a meteor crash of like a spring, like right in the middle of it. And it's huge. And the water is so clear. You and I were used to like the sound where it's like green.
Yeah.
You know, like green and blue.
You can't see more
It's
than
like
like
you can-
5 feet down usually.
You can see like on an undisturbed beach front, you can stand at the edge of the beach and see probably like 10 feet into the water. It's actually crazy. It's so pretty. And the mountain climb up there from like Minden, which is where we left. Someone we know is from there, like a little dirt town. And dude, that is quite the climb. I was like at the bottom of that and I was like, how the fuck do we get up there? And my dad was like, drive. I was like, well, no shit. But like, it's such a steep climb.
Tahoe is where some of the more like affluent Nevada communities are, right?
Yes. And if we're being real, mostly just secondary beach homes for really, really rich Californians.
That's
But,
unfortunate.
Yeah. Most of the people that work in Tahoe are people that live down in Minden or like Reno and Sparks.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah, they like travel there for work because there's a good economy there. But, you know, it's
you can
super-
you can make money there, but you can't make enough to live there.
live there. Never. No. Yeah, it was a cool trip. I think to answer the question of where my favorite trips though, when I was a kid, I used to go see my grandma out in Tucson, and I think those are my favorite. It just like I have a special love for that kind of geology. It's so different from here, and I love bugs and I love cool weird plants, and that's exactly where you find shit like that. Like you just kind of there's just something so cool about just chilling out in the patio and like hearing a rattlesnake and like being scared for your life, or like being in the kitchen and looking at the road and seeing an actual fucking roadrunner. Like
I love to be
walk down the
scared for
street.
my life, bro.
It's awesome. Or big old owls, or these giant saguaro cactuses that you like couldn't even wrap 3 sets of hugs around. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these just fucking behemoth things that like fall and crash, and monsoons that are like the weather is so it's like hot. And then in the night it's so cold. And then sometimes these like rain fronts move through and just wash everything. And then you can just watch this area that holds its breath for so long, for so much of the year, breathe for a moment. And like all those animals come out, and it's so fucking cool. Such an interesting area to be in. So I think those are my favorite parts of my trips.
It's not a specific trip, but I think that probably like my favorite trips plural that I've taken are down the Oregon and Northern California coast.
Sure. Yeah.
I
yeah.
love to like go down the 101 and hit up the big beaches and the different
Yeah.
beach towns, and there's all kinds of like untouched forest even just slightly inland, and
Yeah.
they've done a pretty decent job at like protecting parts of the coastline in Oregon too. So there's just massive beaches. Last time I was there, I went out uh like after it was fully dark onto the beach and walked all the way up to the water line, and it was just black. It was crazy. You
Yeah.
just can't. It was almost like I felt a little scared
Yeah.
because I could look behind
That's
me
so-
and see the city, but if I turned towards the water,
You
I
didn't
couldn't
see the 20 sharks that were waiting for you.
I just couldn't see anything except for kind
Yeah.
of like the water lapping at my feet 5 feet in front of
So
me, and it
cool.
was just like an endless abyss past that.
The red fir or the redwood forest in like North California.
I was going to ask
is
if you'd
also-
been there, because I did take a trip
Never.
through there with my family one time. We specifically went down the 101 all the way down through the redwoods, and the redwoods are amazing.
I really wanted to go. By that point in the road trip, we had already like we were about to stab each other to death. So it was like I just didn't want to fucking hear the bickering anymore. And so I
Yeah.
was just like, we're driving straight. We're driving straight there. Although there's a point in Oregon where the Cascades, I think, hit another it's not the Rockies, but another mountain range, like kind of like hits a delta, kind of like by Mount Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And so you drive up and down, kind of like through this 2 mountain range pass. And the climb is so steep and the down is so steep that like just, but the visuals are crazy. I think I just like mountains, but like the way the sun just gets caught in these crests and makes these fucking beautiful sunsets is so cool.
Yeah.
And especially at night or towards nighttime, where like the mountains are in shadow, and so you have these pitch black like fucking spires of rock that are just backed against this beautiful pink landscape or skyscape. It's so cool.
Yeah, I've been through that area as well, and it's pretty amazing even to drive through. There's like 1,000
Yeah.
different like hikes and shit like that you can do too, but
For sure.
I specifically remember parts of that drive where there was either like clouds or some mist, and the road gets like close to a ledge, and the world
Yeah.
just kind of like disappears on one side of your car.
Yeah. I think while talking about mist, it reminds me of my earlier portion of the road trip. And like towards the end of, we like poked up into North Dakota for a brief second before we got to Wisconsin. And we had been driving. I was driving, and it was nighttime, and so like just endless, like remarkably straight road, frankly. But like it just goes on forever. And so I was on cruise control, and I was there for hours, and like probably had like 2 hours, and occasionally just like this fucking fog would roll in, and it would be so thick you could not see more than like 10 feet in front of you, and so I'd have to slow down and
Jeez.
drive through it, and then it would go away out of nowhere, and then you'd be fine, and then more fog would like roll in, and you couldn't see shit. We got there by the time the sun was starting to rise, and so we pull into this gas station, and I'm letting these dogs out to piss, and the sun is coming up. It's not even sunrise anymore. Like the sun is pretty much out. It's dawn. It's like fucking 5 in the goddamn morning, and I'm just like, it's muggy and it's hot. And then I look out to where the direction we came from, and I see that like, well, and I had gone into, we had like gotten a monsoon warning on the way there, but like there was never any rain, so it wasn't a problem.
Huh.
And to get away from the mosquitoes that were fucking, it was like the gas station was like TV static. I could barely
That
see
sounds awful.
this cloud of mosquitoes.
Fuck
And so I
that.
went inside to like talk to the lady because I didn't want to be out there. My dad was filling the gas, like, fuck him. He get eaten alive. And I was like talking to her. I was like, they said there was a monsoon warning. And she's like, oh yeah, no. That's already passed through. Everything's really wet. That's where those mosquitoes are coming from. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I went out, I'm letting the dogs out to piss, and it's clear. And I like look up, and I realized that's the direction we came from. And I thought we were driving through flats. We were, but we were actually driving through like pretty much an emergency wetland. The fog was basically, we'd been driving through these flats that were slightly lower and were just full of water. So the monsoon water had collected in like these little, basically like these large flat dishes.
Oh,
where
so
like
you're
farming
driving
happens, I guess.
through the aftermath of it.
Yes. So we were driving through like a swamp, and that wasn't fog. It was condensed steam, because it was so hot at night that the water was evaporating into the air and creating these rolling steam clouds. And that's also where all the fucking mosquitoes were coming from. It was endless still water for miles and miles. So it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That shit was that was a horrible realization. I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you could
swamp country.
You could not make a better environment for mosquitoes if you tried.
No. They were eating good.
I hate those fuckers.
Dude, it sucked. I was covered in bites. Where's somewhere that you've always wanted to go?
I wanna go to a different country.
Dude, me too.
I have my passport. I could do it.
Me too.
I could drive to Canada pretty quickly from where I live, for one.
I've never even been to Canada.
Exactly. Yeah.
You haven't been to Canada?
No.
Okay, that's more ridiculous than me not being to Canada.
Well, like I said, I've never left the
Yeah.
the US. And when I
That's
went
crazy.
to Alaska, I flew. So
Yeah. That's nuts.
I drove to Hawaii, but I flew to Alaska on the big bridge that they built.
On the big BoJack Horseman bridge from California to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to leave the country really bad too. We've briefly discussed like a Europe tour.
I don't know where I would pick as like a country I want to go visit. There's definitely a few that are kind of on the list for me. I think
Sure.
I think England is up there for me. South Africa is up there for me.
Ooh.
I have a lot of South African family.
Yeah.
It just feels like something I'd like to do because of family history. There's also like people I
Sure.
could go visit and meet and stay with that I've never actually met in person before, which would be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
I would love to go to Mexico. I really enjoy Latin culture, and I've been learning Spanish for years. Probably know enough to get myself skinned alive. And I think I would just love to go down there and experience that. The issue is I don't know if you can tell, but I am a giant white man. And, it's like not only a quick way to make myself an easy target just to get scammed in general, but like just kind of, it's harder to immerse yourself in that kind of culture. Like, I don't want to just go somewhere and visit. I want to go somewhere and like dive in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that safely.
My sister has been doing this recently. Like,
dude, which is crazy. Good for her.
like solo traveling
yeah,
along those lines, like staying in hostels or
psycho.
most
So cool though.
Most recently, she like stayed with a local family and did like 4 hours of Spanish immersion school every day, and then just got to like wander around Guatemala for the rest of her time.
What the fuck? That's so cool.
So she's been doing the local culture trips just solo recently. She did one trip to Spain with a friend, but I'm so impressed that she could do it by herself, because I'd be so scared.
I think you took all the anxiety first.
And she's a woman. Not that that makes her less able to travel, but it makes her less safe when she
More
travels
dangerous.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, good for her. The reason I haven't gone to Mexico yet is I am connected to some people that are from Mexico. And they're not able to go yet. And I do not want to go before they can. I think that that's a little bit cruel. And also, I cannot imagine people that I would rather go with than like some fucking Mexican natives.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That I'll be safe. I'll be able to see the cooler areas. I really want to see the pyramids super bad. And I'm not talking about the fucking lame ones that we know how were built in Egypt. I'm talking about like I want to see Latin American pyramids.
Yeah, you want to see like the step pyramids and like Teotihuacan,
Yes.
right? Yeah, those are
Yes.
pretty cool.
I would also love to go to Peru and see
Machu
Machu Picchu.
Picchu. Yeah, that would be sick.
I want to see Machu Picchu so bad. I love South America. It's such a beautiful place. And it's the people there have always been so welcoming and kind to me. So
Yeah.
I think that I would really enjoy that. Also, I got a friend in Ireland
Oh,
and
yeah,
would
yeah.
love to head out to Europe. And there's plenty of places I would like to see. Traveling there is really easy. So, you know, I want to, and I'm a big foodie. So I would love to like try food out in France and out in Italy and out in Germany. And I hear Spain isn't that impressive, but Portugal would be kind of cool. Also, just generally seeing what the kind of life is like out there would be really interesting to me. Obviously, who doesn't want to hit Amsterdam? The Asians kind of scare me in general, mostly because of the culture shock. I've been told by some clients of mine that are Chinese that like genuinely, as long as you can keep your mouth shut, China's fucking gorgeous and it's cheap.
Yeah, I've heard similar things about China that you kind of it's like pretty easy to in terms of seeing beautiful things and like being able to travel through it pretty affordably, but that you
Yeah.
kind of you can't go as a clueless American. You kind of have to know a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've heard the same thing about Japan.
The thing is you may have noticed I did not say I specifically wanted to go to Japan, and it's because I kind of don't. Like I don't I want to get flamed so hard because some of my friends are this, but I do not. I don't understand the American white guy obsession with Japan.
I don't either,
I just don't get it.
but there's definitely some, I guess, as there is in most countries, some very gorgeous nature to see there.
Yeah. But it's like they don't go there to see just the gorgeous nature. They're going there to like observe the culture like a zoo.
Yes. Yeah, that part of it I don't get.
Does that? I haven't met someone who shares this view with me exactly.
And
but
it's
there's
not
something,
and it's not weeaboos either. It's a different thing.
There's something that like sits in the underbelly of like the Japan trip obsession that feels problematic to me. And I like people that go there like, oh, they're so respectful. They do this and they do that. And you come back here and just to be an American again. Like you're not learning any lessons by going and observing that. You're not internalizing any of it. You're going there to watch it like a spectacle.
Yeah, it's like watching their culture. You think their culture is weird and and like unusual compared to yours, and you're gonna like sit on the other side of the glass and like watch it happen. Like it's
and also like
I don't know.
not inform yourself in any way as to why their behavior is this way and how damaging it can be, and like any of that. Like I don't know what the deal is, but like when I say I want to go to Mexico, I want to go there and immerse myself in that culture. I want to be, and that's why I want to go with locals. I want to be there and be part of it. I want to like see what it's like and experience it. And I mean like all levels of that. And I want to know and understand why you'd want to leave, why you'd want to stay. Like what brings people there, what makes it special. I want to experience all that myself. I don't want to go there and just watch a bunch of Mexicans behave. See, it sounds weird if I say it like that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
Like, it's, but like you don't get that angle when people are like, oh, I went to Japan and it was so nice and everyone's so nice. Like it's like, yeah, but like, are you asking yourself why they are that way? Like,
yeah, I would also like to take a trip to like South America or Latin America. To me, language barriers are really intimidating. So like Western Europe is less intimidating to me because even if you are in countries that primarily speak their own language, there's so much English going on over there.
Yeah.
And my Spanish is worn out. I don't practice it anymore, and I know very little, and I would understand very little. I would feel much better. Like I'd totally be down to take a trip with my sister, for example, because her Spanish is really strong now, and it would be helpful. Even having another white person with you that speaks Spanish would make me feel a lot more comfortable taking a trip like that.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the reasons I don't travel a lot is because I'd like to spend money on some other stuff that I can. I'm more of a possessions kind of person, and not to say that I'm like a hoarder or whatever, but like I think it's very clear that I collect stuff. I like things to be in my hands. I value that a little bit more than experiences. It just depends on the kind of experience.
Yeah.
But like, how do we feel? I think one of my biggest holdbacks when it comes to travel is just the anxiety of preparing to travel.
For sure. For sure. I feel the same
way. I
way.
fucking hate this part. I like being there. I like being at the location.
Yeah.
I don't like planning anything around it.
I don't even like planning the shit while I'm there.
No. It's brutal. How do you feel about airplanes, man?
I don't know how I feel about airplanes, dude.
He doesn't even know.
Me and airplanes have a difficult relationship with one another.
Yeah.
In the past, I did not have a problem with them. Like when I was 10 and went to Hawaii, that was like a 6-hour flight, and that didn't bother me. I was nervous about flying alone a couple years after that when I took like another 6-hour flight to the East Coast, but I wasn't like overly anxious about it. The flight was fine. I just like watched movies and got restless because it was crammed for 6 hours. But then more recently, I have started.
Then you figured out that you could die.
Yeah. Then I started. Yeah. Yeah, I turned 18 and I started to be afraid of everything. So yeah, airplanes make me really nervous now. I was really nervous about like the flight to Alaska, for example. And my uncle bought me like I think it was like a double
Aftermarket
like a
Xanax.
double Irish coffee on the plane, which was ridiculously expensive, but I don't know. I got a little bit of a buzz going on the plane, and it was like it might have been like less than a 2-hour flight. So, it was pretty manageable. I was mostly really anxious about it beforehand, and then once the flight got going, like we got up into the air and stuff, I felt a little bit better. More recently, I went to Las Vegas, which is also like a 2-hour flight from where we took off. And that was like the worst flight experience I've had, anxiety wise. I was like fighting off a panic attack for the full 2-hour flight down there. And I got up while the seatbelt sign was on and got scolded by the flight attendants. But I just was like, I need to like get up and go to the bathroom because there were periods of that where I was just freaking out. And then because the flight down was so bad on the way back, the anticipation was killing me because I was like, I cannot sit through that again. That was horrible.
Yeah.
And then I just like, for some reason felt okay. I felt like a little tense.
Sure. I think you might just need to throw back a couple bennies next time you get on the plane and write it out.
Well, I got the suggestion to just like suck on mints.
Interesting.
And I was like, you know what? Strangely, that sounds like a good idea. I think there's, it's just like a mouthfeel kind of thing, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but I was like, that sounds like a good idea. So I bought like an $8 thing of icebreakers before I got on the plane.
Hell yeah.
And I think that helped.
I despise flying. I liked it. I liked it when I was a kid. And then I gained the ability to overthink everything. And it's just generally a stressful experience. I've learned that like I'm not exactly entirely uncertain of the safeness of flying itself. That's not so much my problem. It does stress me out that I'm in the air and this thing could just fucking explode and I could fall out of the sky. I say 12 hours before I'm about to be on another flight.
But I'm less scared of like the plane crashing or exploding than it's more of like a claustrophobia and like feeling like I'm not in an environment that belongs to humans, if that makes sense. Like that's what bothers me about it. Like I'm not supposed to be up here. And also it's fucking crammed in here.
You're like, this is Zeus's domain, dude. I owe him money. Like,
yeah. And also it's just like, it's also kind of a claustrophobia thing. It's super crowded and small. And that bothers me about it too.
To me, it's a sensory problem. I think I figured out being forced to sit in the same seat for a long time just sucks. It's the same reason I don't like long drives. And it's very difficult to distract myself at certain points where I'm so restless and I need to get up, and being ADHD does not help. Where it's just like, I just feel like I need to fidget and I feel locked in and I'm stuck. and I just despise that shit. I also am not a big fan of being packed into an area with a bunch of people.
Yeah, me neither.
Just not my vibe. The seats are too close. I'm really, really tall, so like my
sure
leg
that
room is
doesn't
so
help.
limited. I always book the aisle so I can like stick my leg out, and also in case like I'm also just kind of a broad dude.
Yeah.
I've gotten thinner, which is nice. But like I'm aware that my shoulder frame is still pretty wide, so like and I just got big old nuts. You know what I mean? And I gotta like spread out.
You got a man spread on the airplane.
Yeah, I got a man spread on the airplane. Just in general though, like I feel like I take up other people's room when I'm next to them. So it sucks. Dude, being in the middle seat
Yeah.
for a full flight just fills me with dread. So I pay extra to make sure that this does not happen to me.
Yeah, the middle seat sucks because
Whoever invented that shit, they should die.
on one side you can't just like get up if you want or need to get up, and on the other side you can't look out the fucking window, and there's somebody squishing you on both sides. This is where I was sitting on the way to Las Vegas when I got very anxious.
Oh. It's so hard for me to make friends when I'm next to that person for so long, and like I think I can make friends pretty much anywhere if I have the social battery in me, but like it's hard when I'm on a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the environment stresses me out so much. So there's a lot of shit that's kind of in the way. I also like I don't mind planning out an itinerary. The process of the traveling is what scares me.
Yeah. It's stressful.
How do you feel about like mapping shit out, like planning stuff?
I don't
like that.
I find it stressful.
Yeah, I mean, my job involves a lot of managing shit, so I could plan a schedule out without too much of an issue. But like, if it's really long and drawn out, then I become I get like the dad affliction, where like we're not following the itinerary and we're starting to fall behind, and I know, and I'm like doing the math in my head, like how far back we're gonna pull, and like I'm like, okay, we fall this far back, or if we're too far ahead of schedule, it fucks everything up, and I get stressed out.
You and I are both very particular about kind of having things happening at a particular time and not being super willing to adjust those things without it causing us a degree of stress, I think. But people who seem to enjoy just like going somewhere for a week often seem to have less of an itinerary than I feel the need to.
Good for you.
Like, we're just gonna go and do whatever we feel like doing. And I'm like, how though? Because like, if I'm gonna go spend a week in Europe, I'm gonna feel the need to like plan different places we can go and different things we can see, and like maybe multiple different places to stay in like different spots, right? And that all is very daunting to me.
You also have more than I do, like this tendency to value things in a way that makes sense to you. And I can imagine, like, if you're going to like another country, you want to pack as much value into the time you're spending there as possible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I catch myself feeling that way. And then I'm like, this is not like, I do not have to like have this assigned value to things. Like my trip, I don't have to mathematically make my trip the most valuable that it can be. Like I can just go and do what's fun. But I have a hard time letting go of that for whatever reason.
It's so much easier to spend $300 on a transformer and put it on my shelf and look at it for a couple weeks than than all this. But are there any places that you like probably wouldn't go?
Places that I wouldn't go. Places that I would go. I don't think there's anywhere that I would like actively avoid. There's places that I would be.
There are places I have no interest in being.
Yeah, I guess
Japan's
so.
not
That's
even
so
one of
many
them.
places though.
Yeah,
there's places that I would go first, and places that would be.
I do not want to go to North Korea, for example, and it's for an interesting reason. I think it's because they're like they really like want to have tourism, but that tourism is so built up to give you an idea.
Yeah.
That like it feels
it's like fake. It's like a facade thing that they do.
Yeah, which is generally my problem with stuff. In that regard, I also don't want to go on any trips to places that kind of fit that niche where they're like trying to put on a performance for you.
Yeah, I think there's places that I find like more intimidating to travel than others. Like I would find travel to East Asia more intimidating than like Western Europe,
Yeah.
for example.
Despite the fact that like I hear that people are incredibly nice and accommodating, and the deeper into those places you go, they're like more uncommon for white guys to be. The more like of a spectacle you become, and it's like, yeah, you can get scammed, but people are really excited to fucking see you.
I think my thing is
Um,
like you're gonna find like a pretty big language barrier there
Sure.
if you only speak English and you're American. And I just have so much less knowledge of the culture of really any East Asian country than
Yeah.
I do like Western
You
Europe.
scared of like fucking up or something, like getting skinned alive or some shit?
Yeah, for sure. I'm like,
All right, yeah.
I'm afraid
Fair
of
enough.
like, realistically, I'm afraid of like getting scammed or like not being
Sure.
able to communicate about basic things like lodging and like directions and stuff like that.
I don't think I'd go to India because of how packed it is. And this is not a stereotype. People who travel to India are like, it's a shocking culture difference. It's packed with people. It's loud and a lot all the time. And that is exactly the kind of environment I do not want to be in.
Yeah.
I can't handle it. I just can't handle
There's
it.
got to be
Sensorily
like
wise.
countryside areas. That's a massive country.
It's huge. But yeah, like if you want to hit like the places to be, isn't Bangladesh one of them?
Bangladesh is a country.
You're right.
Bangalore,
Well,
I think, is a city.
Bangalore. I can't remember, but there are some like places kind of towards the coasts that are really popular to be in. But like if I want to go to the popular areas of India, those locations are also just fucking packed with people, and I just can't handle it. I think there are plenty of areas like that in the world in general that I just don't want to go to. Like any major area, like Paris, for example. I don't want to go to Paris.
No,
There's just
me
too many
neither.
fucking people.
I'm not super
In
interested
all the giant cities.
in like the big city tourism.
Yeah. What's the London? I don't want to go to London either. There's too much stuff there.
I would go to London
barely
to
wanna
go
go
to
to-
like a soccer game, but other than that, I would
Yeah.
be less interested in London specifically.
The capital of Switzerland is another one that I don't think I want to go to, probably because it's just going to be more confusing to me than anything. There's two major languages there, neither of which I speak.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And they
Yeah, great.
they literally make fun of like how different the French and German Swiss people are too, like just
Yeah.
culturally.
yeah. So it's like, oh, great. I'm stuck in the middle of this, like right in the split.
Pick a side, buddy.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I just want to eat the food.
How do you feel about Scandinavia?
That might be cool. I hear people are really nice up there. Although I think the
See,
culture
I
there
have
might
heard the
actually be
opposite.
shocking. Really?
I have heard that
They're, like,
if you
cold?
go to like Sweden, that people come across as very mean.
Well, I don't think that they are mean though,
I have
right?
heard
It's just like
it-
a cultural thing.
Yeah, I've heard it explained as like people talk about like the Seattle freeze where we live, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
people
yeah,
like
yeah.
don't really talk to you or smile at you
Mhm.
aside from like brief necessary interactions a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think the explanation that people give for why people think that like Swedes or Norwegians are mean when you go and visit is very similar to that.
Oh, well, see, that I can respect. You know, because I that's how I would like to be. It's also how I grew up, so that's fine. It's the same thing with Germany. Like, I don't think I'd mind going to Germany because a lot of people say that like their humor is really strange and they're super stoic faced and they say what they mean to say quickly. I'm describing myself, dog.
You wanna go
That's
clubbing
exactly
in
where I want to
Berlin?
be, dude. Okay, that might be a little packed for me, but I think it would be a fucking experience. Is to like actually hit some of the original discotheques. Like,
I mean, it would definitely be an experience. I don't know if I could handle it though.
get all leathered up, fucking smoke some DNT and party with some German guys. That sounds pretty fucking rad to me.
I don't think I could handle it.
You just can't hang.
No, I don't think I could.
I don't think I'd want to. Yeah, like
That too.
I think our lack of. I think you put it better, honestly. There are places that I just like are so far on the bottom of my list that it's hard to say that I just do not want to ever go there. Like if someone's like, "Hey, do you want to go to India?" Then I'd be like, "Okay, where?"
Yeah.
And like I figure it out, you know what I mean? But like they're just really low on my list of to go to. Do you think that you're satisfied with how often you go on trips?
Uh,
Because as I get older, I
no.
get more concerned about this.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like for one, I feel like I'm missing out on
Well, your sister's absolutely fucking travel maxing on you. Like you're getting mogged.
I am getting travel mogged for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out on international travel, and I feel like I'm
Sure,
missing out on a lot of cultural experiences that might be important or profound to me. But at the same time, I am just kind of a homebody. Like I'm pretty content to
Yeah.
not do things like that. But I do feel like I'm missing out also. As far as
I mean, in high school,
the trips
in
I
like
do
high school,
take,
Dylan.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say in high school, Dylan went on that Europe trip, and it seems so fucking critical to him.
Yeah,
and I feel like I missed that.
Yeah. I think as far as the trips that I do take, I would also just like to be able to take them more. Like, I don't know. I want to spend time like going places and doing stuff, and I don't get to because I have to have a job and I have to like make money and pay for stuff. And
Yeah.
the older I get, the less time I have to go places and do things, which lends itself to the feeling like I'm missing out and I'm running out of time feeling.
Isn't it funny to be anxious about not traveling and then traveling making you anxious?
Yeah. I mean, like
There's
I
no
said,
win.
I'm fairly content to be at home too.
Yeah. See, like I'm always like, man, I'm missing out. In my 20s I'm always told that like your 20s is the time for X and Y and Z. And one of the ones that I do understand is like traveling. But the issue is things have turned around. Like I need to work in order to like set myself up to have a comfortable-ish future.
Yeah.
Like travel isn't something I see regularly in my future until like I'm probably in my 50s. Like it's just how it is. And it's like, oh, well, I won't be able to be a kid and enjoy it in the way that a kid would be able to. And yeah, that sucks. But it's just not. I also acknowledge that it's probably just not the way things are going to play out for me. In general, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of prefer possessions. So like, I think I'll get excited to have all these things and then leave them for large periods of time and come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I also just now I've made things more complicated for myself by having a fucking business that I'm attached to, and I need to be here to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a reactive thing a lot of the time, but also like I need to make sure that it's still running and I need to keep growing it, and I can't do that if I'm not here. So that does suck, but I don't resent it as much as I'm making it sound like I do. It's just, something that does hold me back. I would like to, if traveling was free and easy, I'd do it all the time, but it's not, and it's not. So
Yeah.
I have to kind of like wait until the right moments, but that's just how it is.
People who want to like travel all the time and live that life in their 20s find ways to do it. I think are.
Well, yeah, I mean, not being mean to myself, I just don't want it bad enough.
Yeah,
That's okay.
and neither do I. Those people are like giving up a degree of financial stability to make that possible for themselves, and it's obviously super worth it to them. I think it's just
Yeah.
we value that a little bit less than people who do spend their 20s traveling. We just like and enjoy other things and value other things in a different way, and that's okay. But I do look at people like that sometimes and feel like I'm missing out a little bit for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, they make it seem so fucking fun. But you're also not seeing all the parts that are stressful to them.
Right.
Oh no, yeah. But all that to say, I am incredibly excited for this trip. I'm going to hit 2 states, going to New Mexico, which I hear the food there is New Mexican food, not Tex-Mex, and it's very different. So I'm excited to try that. I'll get back to you on that. And then I'm hitting Boulder, Colorado, which is pretty much Denver, and I've never been to Colorado. The weed smoking capital of the west side of the country, and I am excited to just generally check it out. My dad's been to Denver a lot, and he was telling me that like you look to one side and you see the mountains, you look to the other side and the world drops off because you're just kind of like in this middle area in those mountains. The funnier thing is what is Denver known as?
The Mile High City.
You know what's taller? You know what's higher up in the air than Denver? Santa Fe by like 1,000 feet, I think. So
The Mile Higher
I'm actually-
City.
I'm going to be going down into Denver.
Not a lot of people get to say that.
No, it should be, yeah.
Going
So
down
I'm
to
excited for that
Denver.
too. Going down to Denver. Yeah, so I'm gonna go enjoy my fucking trip. And with that said, see ya. Oh, hold on. Stop. Halt. Follow us. I forget every week.
I know. It's so hard.
On Instagram, you can follow us at Koolaid_stand_podcast. On YouTube, you can follow us at Koolaid_stand. You can just follow us right here on Spotify if that's where I keep saying that. It's where we're from, all right? You can follow us on Spotify. We put video, which you can watch with your eyes closed, and get audio on YouTube. So, all right, see ya.